see. Did you get a notification or anything?
Notification? No, it just says live up at the top corner. Looks like we're rolling.
I think I'm working double phoned right here.
Marco's got the burner and everything out.
Yes, I have the burner. We are up. We are live. What's up, JP?
What's going on, brother? How you been?
Nothing. It has been. I got to retrain myself to look in the directly down the lens over here, but things have been going well.
Good.
Not much really going on today with the Giants per se. Some NFL news in the background floating around. Yeah.
There's a lot of stories out there. It seems like there's some rumors floating around about people trading up, trading back. This whole Brett Bellamy. Yeah, he may be leaving for Michigan State. So that's an interesting story for sure.
Right. It's not a huge loss. It was,
Yeah. People are in a state, I think, of consistent frustration. So little things like this are very easily setting people over the top, which I get. I mean, at this point, what is this, like, better part of a decade we've been pretty bad. 2016, I think it was kind of an anomaly. Like, our defense was, like, barely squeaking wins out. The offense was running slants with Odell every play. It was like we were winning, but we were all waiting for it to kind of come crashing down, which it did in Green Bay. But, yeah, I mean, the whole thing with Pepper Johnson, that's pretty interesting. I know you and I had spoke about wanting him to come originally.
Yeah. Well, he's catching, like, of course I'm biased off the top, but seeing his name trending on Twitter, I was like, what? What the hell? What happened with Pepper Johnson? I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
It was like one game.
I know.
Like, he has 5 Super Bowl rings, right? Yeah, 5.
He was with Belichick for 14 years. I didn't realize the extensive background with the Patriots he had. 14
years, and then he went for a defensive coordinator spot, I think, with the Bills, maybe.
Was he there? Okay.
Yeah, and that's how that, he went for a promotion, and I get that. And even with Belima, it's a head coaching gig in a good college team.
Michigan State, I mean, come on. Yeah, I don't blame the guy. I mean, people got to realize, too, I mean, these guys, as much as they are in a position to be a part of something great, which I'm sure Joe Judge pitched to all of them because he's trying to build a specific culture. I mean, everyone's dream is to be a head coach, to run a big program, to win championships, whether that's in college or the NFL. So I think people have to understand that it's not going to be, it's not going to always be an ideal situation. Like, we have our team, it looks good. We may lose a guy. It's not the end of the world. It really isn't. I've heard mixed things about this guy too. He has a really big personality.
Yeah, and supposedly he was saying he was going to become the defensive coordinator of Patriots before any of that,
Yeah.
A few years before anything happened, so he's looking to make his name, and I don't blame him. It's probably a better payday than what he's getting as a not even a coordinator, an assistant positional coach.
Yeah, I mean, he's coaching linebackers he's coaching the D line, and he's the assistant coordinator, correct, to the defense.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, it'll be interesting, man. I will say, kind of veering off subject a little bit, I am interested to see. So offensively, I feel the staff that was put together is solid. I like that Garrett and Colombo have that continuity. I feel like bringing 2 Dallas coaches together, I just like that. I like that there's going to be 2 guys that have a similar mindset. As much as people don't like what happened with Garrett in Dallas, I do think that he was a good offensive coordinator. I think he had success with guys. People talk about how Parcells was really to give the credit for Romo. I think Garrett had a lot to do with him, and Garrett had a lot to do with Dak, and they were late-round quarterbacks. I think Romo was undrafted, so that's exciting to me. I look at our offense. We've got Shapansky, who's going to be coaching up Jones, which, for me, that was my biggest thing with this whole search was, like, let's get some guys around this kid, fix the fumbling issues. You know what I mean? Like,
let's not miss out on Jones or ruin the poor kid.
Yeah, because I know you, along with me and many others, we were really, like, what is going on with this pick? What are we doing? A lot of people doubt Gettleman. I mean, he's definitely made a lot of mistakes, so the doubts are realistic. But I think the staff they put together from the offensive side of the ball is exciting. Even Kitchens, I mean, if you look at that offense, not last year, the year before, and even last year at times, there was a lot of really interesting schemes they put together. I just don't think he was suited for a head coaching job. So I do like that Judge put together a team of some interesting names. Defensively, we'll see what happens. I think there's some. I like Sean Spence from Penn State. I know he's a really, really good coach. I think they averaged over 40 sacks each year for the last 4 seasons. So there's some good names on the defensive side of the ball, but nothing that like really jumps out to you. Like Patrick Graham, like everybody's like, who is this guy? What is he going to do? So it's I don't know. I'm optimistic. I'm cautiously optimistic, Marco. That's where I'm at right now.
On the defensive side, on the coaching, they're all, except for maybe I think the corners coach, they're all like big, loud, like burp guys.
I like that.
I like that.
Yeah.
I got my question marks. There's a few, like, really, the Kitchens being one, Jason Garrett's another, but like.
So you didn't like the Garrett or the Kitchens hire? You weren't in on them?
Nah.
Who did you want? I mean, in a perfect ideal world, who were you looking for?
You know, I really didn't have a go-to person for them to grab.
Yeah.
I don't mind Jason Garrett because I know he's like, I was making fun of him before, like, oh, we're going to be 8-8 with Jason Garrett. I'd love to be 8-8 right now, though. It's like, that'll look great.
I would too.
It'd
be so nice.
So I'm not going to make fun of him for that. So I pulled back a little bit.
That's actually hilarious. I mean, I look at it from this perspective. When Joe Judge got up on the podium and he spoke, I think a lot of people were kind of like, all right, let's see what this guy's about. And, you compare the McAdoo and the Shermer press conferences, and it was so different because I felt like this guy was really up there just talking football. Like, he knows football. It's a part of him. And everything he spoke about, teaching fundamentals, he spoke about using players in the best place that they'll fit, not sticking a round peg in a square hole. A lot of people want to talk about analytics and, what are we doing to be more forward thinking? I think he spoke to a lot of that. Like, you watch the Patriots, like, maybe Belichick won't admit it, but they're very analytical in the way they do things. They may not say what's the percentage of going for it on 4th down and a field goal here, but, the way they utilize players is very forward thinking. So I looked at the way he put this team together so far from a staff perspective, and it's exciting because he's followed his word. And I think a lot of things for Giants fans over the last probably 10 years is there's a lack of trust there. They like Gettleman for the last couple of years he's been kind of cocky, just trust us. And it's like, well, dude, like, some people are still stuck on the fact that we took a running back at 2. Some people are stuck on the fact that Eli was around for longer than he should have been. It's like there's a lot of those people. So there's a lack of, I think, trust there. So for me, I look at the way he built this offseason, and it's like, all right, that gives me something to kind of hang my hat on and say, all right, I'll take a step back and see what you guys are going to do. Obviously, the draft, a lot of us want to trade back, collect some picks. There's a lot of opportunity there with the whole. Yeah, I'm right there with you, bro. I'm hoping for a trade back, maybe 2 or 3 spots. Grab a guy like Okudah, maybe he falls. Simmons, lock in a guy that can really kind of lead that defense, because I'm not sold on Baker as of right now. I kind of want him to slide to the 2. You get a guy like Okudah at the 1, maybe sign a guy like Schobert in the middle of the field, and then you have some firepower in that secondary and that mid-level, and then you hope a guy like Spence can come in and coach up Jimenez and Carter and all these guys. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on the offseason right now. I'm sure you have some thoughts to add to that, though.
I think first, I'll go back to what you were originally talking about Joe Judge's press conference. He kind of reminded me of a more personable Ben McAdoo. Yeah. Ben McAdoo could talk, but when like the ship was a little rocky,
it got weird.
A little too much with the cliches and
the slick back just got a hold of him.
Yeah. Quick feet, the whole deal. But
yeah.
That's like I got to get an essence of that. We can tell that he's a football guy, a long guy. Yeah. I hope it. Obviously, I want it to work out.
Yeah.
As far as the draft goes, I think we should draft back. If we should trade back. If we could go, I don't want to go too far back though. Just like a mild step back.
Yeah.
But that top corner, man. I was iffy with him at 4 because it's kind of a little high in my opinion. Yeah. But if we're talking like 8, 9, something along that, I would pull it.
Well, I mean, and I was reading some stuff the other day, and a couple of tweets I saw from Art Stapleton, who's one of my favorite Giant beat writers. He was saying, there comes a point where you just have to draft premium capital because, like, yeah, people always want to trade back. They want to trade back and collect more picks. But at some point, it's like you just need to draft players that are going to contribute. Right. But I agree that if you're moving back maybe 2 or 3 spots, and you can get a guy like Okuda who's going to be like a Jalen Ramsey, or I've spoken with some people that are like, man, I see like a Darrelle Revis in him, just a complete shutdown cornerback, and it's like, dude, if you have him and you have Baker and they're playing press coverage every freaking down, and they're just locking up the first 2 receivers on the field, like that's going to change our pass rush. That's going to give guys like, if they do sign Leonard Williams, who I know we'll talk about, like if they sign guys like that who are always like on the cusp of getting to the quarterback, well, if your cornerbacks are able to hold for 3 seconds, 4 seconds, then those guys are able to make more of an impact at the front of the game versus the back end where the D-backs are getting beat. So I think it'll be interesting. I don't know. I mean, I know you want to talk about Washington. I mean, I don't know if I believe that they're trading back, or I don't know what they're doing.
There's now multiple rumors. There was the one like fake, like sort of to throw it out there. I know what the guy was doing. Well, congrats.
Yeah.
But
he got likes and retweets.
Right. Got to do it for the Twitter.
Yeah.
Washington looking at Khalil Mack. Probably, Chicago's trying to do something. I don't know if they're done with Trubisky, but they're looking to move up.
Wait a second. I missed this rumor. What? Talk to me. What are you talking about?
Bears are shopping Khalil Mack. Apparently,
really,
they want to go up to 2.
Wow.
Well, breaking news. I don't have any music on yet, but
give me some sound effects here, Marco. My mind is blowing. Wow, I did not see this. I don't know how I missed that.
I've seen that out there a few times now.
Okay. Is there any legit source? Is Schefter or anybody?
Checkmark people here. Checkmark. Okay. Not that legit, but checkmark people talking about it.
Okay. That's big. I mean, wow. So, are they looking to move up to 2 with him as the piece, or
as the capital? Yeah.
Would you do that if you're Washington?
No.
They're too far off. Like, why you?
Yeah, I think they should trade back. I don't think they should get Khalil.
My perspective, and I know as a Giants fan, a lot of people are still stuck on the fact that we beat Washington and we should have the second pick, but I genuinely believe Washington should trade that pick. I mean, if you look at their offense, they're like us on defense. They don't really have anything. I mean, Dwayne Haskins, huge question mark. The offensive line, a lot of question marks. I mean, I love Darius Geis. I play fantasy football. He's somebody that I definitely believe the talent, but he hasn't proven to stay healthy yet. Outside of Terry McLaurin, what do you have at wide receiver? I mean, you're going to trust Stevie Smith? And you know what I mean? Like Sims, it just, I don't know. And they don't have a tight end either. There's just so much there they need. So I don't know. I mean, part of me wonders, you got a guy like Ron Rivera and Del Rio on defense. They're going to want to take the best defensive player they can. But then you're like, well, you guys are so freaking far off on offense. Do you really want to spend the whole year sucking and just having like a pretty good defense? You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, that screams trade back to me from Washington, but then you have the question mark on what's going on with Detroit. Most likely they would take the best player on the board. I know there's rumors of Matt Stafford and possibly his back being injured twice, seriously. Maybe he's looking towards, retirement, or who knows.
Well, the thing about the Lions that I think is so intriguing is that they're in a position where the owner came out and basically said, hey, you guys have one more year. Like talking to Patricia and the GM. So it's like, if you're telling me that as a coach, I'm looking at what is the best way that I can fill as many needs as possible this year. And that's trading back. It's getting a bundle. Maybe you collect a second and a fourth and maybe a future pick, and you're able to get, whoever you get in the first round, 2 second-round picks. Maybe you move up for somebody. You need playmakers. That defense needs playmakers. The offense needs help at the O-line. I think offensively they have a ton of weapons, so I don't think that they need firepower at any of the I was going to say pretty boy positions, but you know what I mean, like wide receiver, running back, tight end. Yeah, tight end. You need trenches. That's what they need. So I'll be honest. I said it a while ago, and I'll double down on it. Everyone can make fun of me. I've said that the first 3 picks were going to be quarterbacks from the jump.
It's happened before. It's happened a few times.
You're telling me Tua healthy? You're not going to take, like, I think he should go over Burrow. So you got Burrow, then Tua. Someone's going to fall in love with Herbert.
But he's often injured. I wouldn't risk it with him. It's not just an ankle. It's not like a knee. It's not just a hip. It's like the whole combo.
But let me ask you this:
He's dynamite, though. He is dynamite.
Yeah,
I mean, he's gonna last.
If you're going into the draft and you're looking at this guy and he blows up at the combine, like we know he will if he's healthy, all the skill that you saw him have at Alabama, I mean, come on, man. As a team, you're looking at, man, like, this guy could be the guy. Like, if we just build a good line around him, we have the right training staff. I don't know. I'm very intrigued by him coming into the NFL and what he could do with the right team around him. Because, I mean, you saw what Kyler Murray did, and he had nothing.
Yeah.
I think Tua is a lot better.
What are you talking about? Yeah, Larry Fitzgerald, Hall of Fame.
Well.
It's going to be exciting to watch. I don't want that to happen to my franchise where they're going to pick a guy who's, has a fragile tag on him.
Not at all. I mean, that's why I like Jones, after watching him this year. I mean, the guy can take a beating. Yeah, and he just keeps – I mean, look, he broke his collarbone in college, and what did he play like 2 weeks later? Like, he's a tough kid, I mean, as much – I know James been on the show, and he talked about it, as much as you want him to be protected, year one was nice, I think, in a lot of ways because he was constantly under duress. He was forced to make decisions with no time. So you really put him in a position where he was forced to grow in ways that I think, if he had an elite O-line and Barkley was completely healthy and a ton of weapons, you wouldn't have really gotten to see what he could do. But in that type of situation, you sink or swim, you know what I mean? You throw him to the wolves. So I hope this year we can kind of build off that a little bit. But I've said it, and I read something the other day that really stuck with me, and they were saying with our current offense, the Giants can score points. I mean,
that's not the problem.
It's the defense. So, I mean, at this point, I think you buy yourself a defense because the new CBA, I'm hearing you can't roll over any of the money from this year to 2021. So from what I'm hearing, if it's correct, I'm not sure if you got to spend it, or you're gonna lose it. So it's like, well, we just got in this great situation with our cap, and now we got to spend all of it, which is fine. I mean, if a guy like Yannick hits the free agency, screw it, spend money on him. Go out and buy yourself a guy like Schobert or Littleton in the middle of the field. If Blake Martinez comes free, grab him. I'd grab a guy like Devin McCourty, put him in the back end, and let Julian Love play the nickel. I mean. So I feel like there's a lot of options, but the defense needs to be the focus in the offseason.
Listen, I am unbelievably happy that Darius Slayton has now taken the role and, really guiding us in the right way to select our players. And looks like we're going to have Darius Slay in the backfield.
Hey, man, are they really related? Someone told me they're brothers.
No.
Okay, yeah, I thought that wasn't true. Well,
yeah,
I'll have to call them out after the podcast.
Yeah. Are you? I don't think I could be wrong. Let me check.
I'm pretty sure they're not. I mean, Slay and Slayton, it's not the same name. They were saying it, and I could be gullible to that stuff, so I wasn't sure if it was real or not. But yeah, no, that would be really dope. If we got a guy like Darius Slay and we had the money to sign him and put him on the roster, and you move Baker to the 2, and you have a real veteran that actually wants to play and works hard, that'd be exciting.
Yeah, next time I got to figure out a way. I'll get the comments up this way. I can see what people are talking about. You can respond to that.
Yeah. That'd be really cool.
But this is a test. So, Leonard Williams, you signing or you're not signing?
Petty Tran put out an article about transitioning him, and I think that's the best move at this point. You gave up the third; it's a high third. Put the transition tag on him. Is anybody really going to pay $18 million for the guy? No. I mean, I don't see that happening. I think
then we're going to have to pay $18 million for him.
Well, the transition. If someone put up $18 million, either we agree to sign him for that, or we just let him walk and we don't get any compensation. So, I don't know. I honestly, everyone's freaking out that he's asking for $15 million. He's not going to get it. I think he'll get around 12.
Who do you think the best player on the Giants is?
The entire team.
The entire team.
I mean, healthy, you'd say Barkley, right? I mean,
how much does Barkley get paid a year?
He's the top 7 paid running back, right?
He would be making less than your $15 million Leonard Williams. Think of that productivity. A guy who didn't get any sacks, just close there. You're gonna allocate that much money to a guy who's almost there.
This is my thing about it too, though. You got to look at it from a holistic perspective. Defense, yes, it did improve.
Holistic, all right. Let's go with this. All right.
And I'm listen. I know the analytic nerds. They'll
pull the straws. Let's go, baby.
This is my thing with Williams. The defense did improve, even if it was slightly. It did improve with him. He does get a lot of pressures. I think it boils down to the reality that there is some guys that are going to get pressures and there's some guys that are going to consistently get home. If you have a defensive line that I think Gettleman's trying to build strong, you got a guy like Dexter Lawrence, who I think is going to be really good long term. You saw him as a rookie. He was a top-ranked defensive interior player in the NFL. Tomlinson improved drastically when Leonard Williams got there. So you have guys in the middle of that defensive line that can really get pressure and create an issue for quarterbacks, especially if they try to move up in the pocket. If you can sign or develop a defensive end, I think that creates continuity on that defensive line where they start getting home more often. I mean, Williams, he plays hard. He gets to the quarterback. He's good. So I don't know. I get the perspective. People are saying, oh, you're going to be paying him that much more money. One, I don't think he's getting $15 million. I think that's a bunch of BS.
Of course,
and two,
right.
Yeah, let's be honest, Marco. You're going to come in and be like, well, I won 11, but you know,
right.
give me, you know what I mean? Like you're going to ask high. I mean, that's what you do. Like,
yeah, of course.
Yeah, you go on a job interview. You don't ask for 70 if you want 90.
Yeah, I don't blame him for going to get his money. Absolutely not. I just don't think it might be the right move for him. The Giants or Giants fans.
With the money we have now,
I know we have money, but it was a horrible trade.
It was a bad trade. No, I agree. It was, and part of me understands it to an extent. Is like, hey, we're getting a guy. He has top 10 potential. That's where he was drafted. That's his, capital or whatever. And I get that Gettleman gets killed for the way he talks, and I laugh at it because, like, my dad's old school. He's from the Bronx. He's like 80 years old, bro. Like, my uncles, like, they say stuff, and it's like they don't really mean what they're saying. It's just how they talk, and that's Gettleman, and he gets murdered for it. So it makes me laugh, but I understood what he was saying. He wanted to make sure this guy fit in their scheme. He was going to be able to be productive within their locker room. He was going to be a leader. I get all that, and I think people look at that, and it frustrates them because they're like, you gave up a third-round pick to see if he had a good culture fit. I don't think that's really what it was, but I think he said it in a way that pissed people off even more. Joe
Judge should be just like,
just Gettleman, go sit down. I'll address the media.
I
agree. But I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you, Mark. I think they're going to sign him, and I don't know that it'll be to a long-term deal, but I think he'll get at least a transition tag.
I think they've already showed their cards. They're going to sign him.
Yeah.
They traded for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, your most prized thing is picks, right?
But I mean, and a lot of people want to argue the Gettleman truthers, and I mess with people on Twitter a lot. I'm not really for or against I'm really not. I mean, I think he's made some good moves. He's had some solid drafts. I think players need to progress, and a lot of that is on the scheme fit and lack of coaching. I think a lot of that has to do with it because Lorenzo Carter, I think he has all the tools, but it's like you look at these players and you're like, why are they not developing? That's on coaching to me because they go everywhere else. How many times do we got guys look at Aquaro, Kennard, all these different guys that leave us, and it's like, why are they so productive elsewhere? Linville Joseph blew up in Minnesota. I mean, remember when we didn't re-sign him?
But he was good with us, and I think we had. We've always had a good defensive tackle. Well, we had a different scheme then, but we've always had a guy that we could plug right in.
That was when Jonathan Hankins was our guy.
Jonathan Hankins, yeah, we went from one to another to another. So.
Yeah, and I agree. I guess my perspective, and for anybody listening, that wants to kill me afterwards, I'm not saying like Leonard Williams is worth all this money. I'm saying you have the money to spend. If it can't roll over and he's going to be an impact guy in the middle of that defensive line that's going to make players around him better, is it really the worst thing in the world if you're paying him, a front-loaded contract? So I don't know. I'm not totally against it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I think you already spent the capital on him. Who are you going to get in the third round that's going to have that type of production? And I guess the hit rate, if you do hit a guy, he might be great, but let's be honest, how many third rounders are putting up, crazy numbers?
Yeah. I don't know. I think I would, because I don't think you could go. I don't think if Yannick becomes available, I don't think you can get, Williams, Yannick, Conklin. That's, just not going to happen. Before you might be able to get two out of the, 5 that we've mentioned.
I don't think, and this is another subject too on free agency, I don't like the Conklin idea. I feel like he's been injured a lot.
We need a left tackle, not a right tackle.
Exactly, and that's another thing. A lot of people I've been arguing with, they love this tackle class. Most of them are right tackles. Mm-hmm. And second of all, they all have their stuff. So it's like I'm not really keen on drafting a guy in the top 10 at tackle that's not a dead set left tackle franchise guy. Like Andrew Thomas, I know a lot of people were high on him early, and now they've fallen off because of footwork. And it's like I'm not really keen on drafting another. Like, it's like, this is the thing with Reese. People want to defend him now because, like, well, at least he drafted the right positions. He understood positional value. Yeah, but he still would draft shitty players. Like, I don't care if you understand positional value if you're just taking a guy to take him. You take the best player on the board that's going to fill a need, of course. But it's like people want to say now, well, Gettleman's going to take a running back again. No, he's going to take the best freaking player. But it's going to fill a need somewhere else, and it may not be our biggest need, but it's still a need that gets filled. And I think people have to kind of, you know what I mean? They got to kind of understand that.
I think Reese was good. He was risky with his picks. His first round picks, he usually picked well. It was the middles that hurt him, and some of the first round picks didn't work out because of injury and stuff like that. But they had promise. He tried to adjust and wanted to go to get Mahomes with McAdoo, and he was told no, we're sticking with Eli. It's too soon. They would draft him, but not with the first pick, or they wouldn't trade up to get him.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, the whole thing about that is, like, it's
and he also did turn that team around. He did get them back into the playoffs after they started slipping a little bit.
Well, he bought a defense. It's like they said, but then everyone wants to kill it's always hindsight with people, and that's what always kills me. It's like, I wanted Barkley when we drafted him because I loved him at Penn State. I thought he was a great player, and I did believe that with the right offense put together, with the right offensive line, we were going to be a competitive team. I didn't think we were going to win a Super Bowl. I always get giddy before the season starts. That's the kind of fan I am, but I'm realistic about it. But I like the pick. I also have said from the beginning, unless we win a Super Bowl with him and he contributes for multiple seasons and puts up kind of like 1,000 and 1,000, like all ungodly numbers, okay, then it was worth the pick. If he doesn't, then but it's like Daniel Jones. People want to say, well, hold on. Let's not say he's the guy yet. Let's wait 3 or 4 years. Well, it's the same thing with any first-round pick. You got to wait and see. It takes time for players to develop. This isn't a league where – look at the Chiefs. They were great last year. They didn't make They didn't make the Super Bowl. They were great this year. They made the Super Bowl and won it. The Ravens were great this year. I think they'll be in the Super Bowl next year. I think it takes time for teams to develop and get to that.
Sure.
Yeah, so I think it's the same thing for us. It's just we suck, so people want to get out of that everything.
So, I must say, I get a lot of you are like on Twitter. You are like, you have it down. You constantly, I'm like, look at this. So much stuff just from like your retweets. I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? I don't even know the speed that you're working with. It's just like, what connection do you have? It's just like, boom, like.
I got some good buddies on there that keep me posted on stuff, and I read a lot. I mean,
you're on like 6 LTE. I don't even know. Like, I was like, it's impossible. There's not even like 12 seconds on the tweet, and he's already like commented on it.
I keep myself updated on them. I definitely do. I mean, I work my job. I'm on the phones a lot, so I have time in between calls and things like that when I'm working with different clients. So I have a lot of time to check different stuff. So I stay updated on it.
Yeah. I think we've covered everything, actually.
Yeah.
Did we hit our list? Talked about Leonard Williams. Yannick, they're probably going to tag him, but they're over the top.
Yeah.
What else?
I know you want to talk about Slay.
Is he coming? Is he not?
Well, it was like that Baker Mayfield. Did you see that whole thing with him the other day with that girl that was saying that she hooked up with him and he blocked her, that whole drama?
No.
You didn't, really?
No.
Yeah, there was this whole drama. I think it was all fake, but supposedly some girl had a screenshot of him blocking her, and she said that she had given him fellatio in the back of a car recently, and he was upset with her, and it was this whole thing, and she had like some Snapchat of his face. It was this whole big thing she was going at him, and I don't know if it was real or not, but it started getting some trending going towards it, so people were kind of piling on Baker about, a possible another, headline about, him getting into some BS. I'm surprised you didn't see that. It was all over on Sunday.
No.
Well, I missed the Bears news, so that's all right.
I'll send that to you. See if there are anyone leaving comments or anything like that.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I wonder, it's interesting because at this point, like, and this is where I go with these, Marco. This is why I say this. Remember when that trade happened, how everyone said Oakland got screwed and they were idiots and they let Khalil Mack go? Who won that trade now? Who would you rather be, Oakland or the Bears right now?
Pass.
Come on, you'd rather be Oakland. Look, they're in a great situation. They have a really strong team, very young. They have a ton of picks this year. I mean, they're in a good spot. And Gruden, he did a lot with that team last year. Come on,
I know. They're going to a new home. They have a lot of buzz around them. Do they have a quarterback?
Well, they're in a good position to get the quarterback.
Do the Bears have a quarterback?
I think Trubisky's going to be better than people think he is, and I think a lot of the issues last year had to do with Nagy, the lack of an offensive line, and just overall the team as a whole underproducing. You know, Anthony Miller, I mean, he's a high draft capital. They got him in the second round. He sucked for most of the season. You know, David Montgomery, he was vastly I'm a big Montgomery homer in fantasy. He was vastly underused. The offensive scheme, I mean, Nagy, I'd be watching the games, and I'm like, dude, you're trying to get too cute, you know? So I think Trubisky's going to be solid. I mean, you saw him in college. He made good decisions. He only played one season. He comes to the NFL, and it's like people are just destroying this guy. I'm like, let's give him some time. So I don't know. I think it'll be interesting to see, and that's a little off subject, but I think the Raiders are I think this is back to my point. They're in a good spot because of that trade, and people wanted to kill us over the Odell trade. Well, I was mad when it happened, but you look at it now, and it's like Odell may get shipped out of Cleveland now. Like, you got to give people time to, see what's going to happen.
Yeah, people seem to like the little video stuff.
What's that?
The comments seem pretty good. They're like, oh, it's a little change of pace. Usually I just do it like to throw something up. But
Yeah. Well, they can look at our faces. They can make fun of us. It'll be good.
Yeah, it's fine.
the two Gettys on camera.
I know, right? Look at these. I won't even say the curse words. I'll try not to demonetize. Guinea's fine. They don't know. They can't translate that.
Yeah, they don't know what that is.
They're not there yet.
Yeah, they'll look it up. They'll be looking it up right now. They're like, guinea pigs? What is that?
Why are they talking about guinea pigs? Yeah, but this looks like it works out. I got a little kinks to do. Someone said, why do I not have Giants gear or anything like that?
Listen, I'm at work, guys, all right? I'm wearing my salsa shirt.
I didn't come in dressed appropriately.
Yeah.
I know, sorry.
That's all right. It worked out. My hair's crazy. We're good. Yeah, we're good. Yeah. But no, this is cool. I like this, Marco. It's a good opportunity for us to be able to connect with each other and talk football.
Yeah, it's a long time coming. I wanted to do something like this for a little bit. I've been throwing it out to people, and everyone's schedule is pretty crazy. So, this is live. This will be up. We can share it, and people can review it. This is live as right now.
I love it. This is awesome.
They're making fun of you right now.
Right now, live.
It's happening.
The comment sections are blowing up.
Yeah, like how much can we make fun of this guy right now?
Oh, God. One question I do have for you, I'm curious. Where do you sit expectation-wise for Jones this next season? And I know it's real early. There's a lot that's going to happen, but I'm curious kind of what you saw this season and how you see it translating into a new scheme that's going to be much different. Because, Shermer's offense was quick hitters. It was, you know what I mean? It was more making the right decision quickly. Now it's going to be more letting plays develop.
I think he should have I'm a homer. I think he should have a good year. I'm worried.
Yeah.
I think they are going to be primarily a run-first team. That seems what Jason Garrett, kind of his style. But
yeah, which I'm fine with. If we're winning.
Yeah, I would love to see them open it up and get a little creative. That's kind of what I was looking for with an offensive coordinator. But, I get the move that they made. I'm also worried because Gettleman's first draft class all hit sophomore slumps. Every single one of them. Even Saquon, I know he had an injury, but he didn't look as crisp as he did his first year. So I think the potential's there, and I hope he is the guy. Don't get me wrong. I think he is going to be the guy, but if they're wrong, you might just ruin the kid. Go to another offensive coordinator, and it's like, it's a lot up in the air.
I think and this is what we said earlier, a lot of the step backs and regression for players had to do with scheme, had to do with, look at Will Hernandez. He was sandwiched between Jalapeno and Solder. Jalapeno was like one of the worst centers in the NFL this season. And Solder, I don't know if it's, the stuff going on with his son, which is absolutely awful, or if it's just him getting old. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's lack of coaching, but he just wasn't good this year. He's been kind of on that downswing. Usually his play, if you watch in the last 4 or 5 years, first half of the season he's okay, and then he gets really, really good as the season goes on. That just didn't happen this year. He didn't hit his stride. So, for a guy like Hernandez, he's kind of sandwiched between that. I think it makes sense that he's going to have kind of a rough year. I don't think he had a lot of sacks he gave up. I think it was only 1 or 2, but there was a lot of holding penalties, a lot of issues with stuff like that. So I agree. There was a step back, but like I said, I'm excited because I do feel the guys that are in the building now are teachers, and they're going to coach up fundamentals, which is something we have lacked for literally, years. I've been watching games, and it's like, dude, they're missing tackles. They're missing
all the time. All the time, yeah.
Like the most simple shit. You're watching the game, and you're like, dude, like we lost this game because of X, Y, and Z. You can point it out so clearly. So I believe Jones is going to be all right. I will say him already training and being, in the film room and doing the things that he's doing early is very encouraging. It's very Eli-esque.
He's already at Duke.
I love that, man. Jamison Crowder's there with him. He's trying to come over.
There we go. Mark it as official.
Yes, sir.
We'll have Slayton make it, and then we'll go from there. All right, I think that's it. Nothing really scrolling through the feed. Nothing really going on.
All right.
We'll try to do this again. I'll talk to you off the air, and everyone, thank you for listening in, and we'll talk to you later. I don't even know how to end the stream with this new.
Just leave room. Just leave room.
Just
all right, guys.
Right?